Ladies and gentlemen, our panel discussion will put the focus on big data, bigger impact, how retailers are winning with data-driven insights. Please put your hands together as I invite our distinguished panel on stage. He is Head IT Hardcastle Restaurants Private Limited. Please welcome Anand Tomar. He is Vice President Head IT at Kaya Limited. Please welcome Lokesh Wagadre. Business Head Retail and Hospitality Adani Realty. Please welcome Rajendra Kalkar. He is Brand Director Neo Stretch. A warm welcome to Rishi Agarwal. He is Sales Director India and the Subcontinent Zebra Technologies India Private Limited. A warm welcome to Subramaniam Tirupati. And ladies and gentlemen, bringing up our panel is our most distinguished moderator, founder and director, BIRetail Ltd. Please welcome Niraj Jaipuria. And ladies and gentlemen, it's over to Mr. Niraj Jaipuria and this wonderful panel. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Please have a seat. How's the audience feeling right now? Did you have lunch? Okay, let's get some adrenaline going. Right, so with a quick show of hands, how many sitting in this hall today are retailers or represent a retailer? Okay, very good, very impressive. How many are tech solution providers? Okay, and out of these tech solution providers, how many talk about data analytics in their solution? Oh, that's very less. I thought that'd be like 100%. Alright, so guys, I'm sorry, I'm going to keep you very alive in this session. I like my audience to interact with the panelists. I'm just the moderator, okay? So again, with a quick show of hands, I'd like to know how many in this panel are willing to participate with me in today's session. It's going to be simple, just asking questions. Remember, how many of you all have gone to a stand-up show? Right? If you go to a stand-up show and you tell the artists that you're willing to participate, you have to be ready to be the butt of all jokes. So I ask this question again with this context. How many are willing to participate with the panelists today? Okay, I'm just the moderator. Ask the panelists. So I see Biju saying yes. Okay, thanks. We have a couple of people. Come on, one or two more. Right? At least we have 5 panelists, at least 5 participants. Please. Somebody who wants to change their mind. Yeah, great. Okay. So now we've got some participants as well, right? So I'll start the session. We are talking about big data, big impact. How are retailers driving to get insights, right? I'll again come to you before I come to the panelists. What are you expecting to get out of this 1-hour session? Anybody, please feel free to answer. Don't wait for the mic. Just, yeah, please go ahead. Loud, please. No, just speak loud. Okay, anybody else? Any expectations? Okay, so let's do one thing. We'll go to the panelists, let them introduce themselves first, and then we'll ask the panelists if they want to set the agenda for the session today. Why don't you start, Rishi?
Hey, hi guys, this is Rishi Agarwal.
Trust Biju, and then he says, don't make me the butt of the jokes. Yes, please.
Hey, hi guys, this is Rishi Agarwal. I'm the brand director for Neo Stretch. It's a new retail venture coming out of the house of Tomar, and it's a mid-premium based brand which talks more about everyday wear. Casual, formal evening is something that I believe all of us are pretty much bored of. So what about introducing new segments into the menswear apparel category, which is talking more on the use cases of the product, making the life more comfortable. And as you realize post-COVID, people are pretty much bored of wearing their formal clothes to office, which somehow we have to do, look appealing or, to just look the position. But at the same time, comfort is something which is supremely important to all of us today. And we have all seen people wearing their shirts and having their boxers underneath during the video calls. So how do we make clothes so comfortable, it's just like a second skin, and at the same time giving the same look or the design which you guys have still been wearing for years and years. Obviously.
So Rishi, sorry, just one. Also put in a line of what your role is. Yeah, that'll help.
So I bring in the new vision to the company, the retail frontier to the company. How do we use the new D2C route to go big? How do we venture into retail? How do we use the lot of digital media or data and analyze that, draw insights from that, and apply that to our retail ventures so that we are able to scale and grow faster.
Super. Anand.
Hi guys, good afternoon. My name is Anand Tomar. I am the head IT for McDonald's India. We are in the business of spreading happiness. Of course, I believe that you might be loving it. But as a role of head IT, I am responsible for managing the IT infrastructure for the stores, digital initiatives, including analytics for the organization. Yeah.
Super. Thanks. Lokesh.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. My name is Lokesh Wagadre. I am Vice President and Head of IT for Kaya Limited. Kaya basically serves in 3 verticals: body, hair and skin. We are a chain of dermatologists-led aesthetic beauty. And my role in the company is to bring a change towards IT, towards perception of technology, and make it more business friendly rather than just a tech department.
Thanks. Rajendra.
Hi, very good afternoon to all of you. My name is Rajendra Kalkar. I represent Adani Reality and I head the business for retail and hospitality. This is a new vertical which they are starting, which is primarily for annuity assets of retail, hotel and offices. In my past avatar, I was having a role where I had to build a roadmap for good large retail centers in the country, and I intend to emulate or better that past experience in the new role. Thank you.
Subbu.
Hey, my name is Subbu Tirupati. I'm heading Zebra Technologies. This is a 50-year-old company. We introduced barcoding in this country 30 years ago. We introduced RFID. We introduced your Aadhaar card along with Infosys in 2008. We introduced your driving license. We work with almost all the government bodies to bring right barcode symbologies. Barcode is synonymous to our company name. We are striped. We also now introduce RFID. So all the toll nakas, the RFID tags, so we play some kind of a relation. So thanks to all your relationship. I used to always wonder, we are doing 6 billion to 10 billion barcode reads across the world every day. We never used to use it, right? Only at the point of sale. And today we are in that point of time where all these are becoming reality. Data is required. And we actually name almost all non-living things, right? From your zoo animals to your pencil box to everything. And I am quite excited to be sitting here in front of you.
Thank you. So great round of applause for the audience. I mean, we're just about starting. You've got a distinguished panel. If you eat burgers, you know where your data goes. If you go to the airport, you know where your data goes, especially the airports in the big metros. And, Zebra saying that they do so many millions per day, you know where your data goes, right? Of course, they all are bound by their privacy laws internally, so don't worry, your data is safe. I had asked a question, what are you expecting from this panel? I had only one answer. Does anybody have any other expectations before we roll out? Very quickly. Okay, no. So what we'll do is, I've had a conversation with you, unlike what you said. We've discussed what we tried to talk about. There are 2 parts to today's session. One talks about big data, big impact, and the other talks about insights, right? So we're going to talk about these 2 things, big data, and we're going to talk about insights. So again, I'll go back to the panelists, but I can't leave you behind. So firstly, anybody who's heard the term data analytics, right, knows that there is some value in that. It's a poll question, very quick answers. Don't wait for somebody else to finish before you start. Please shout aloud, 1-word answer, right? It's a poll question to everyone. In your opinion, what percentage increase of business efficiency can a retailer achieve if data analytics is implemented correctly? Please go ahead, answer. What percentage increase in efficiency? 60%. Sanjay says 60. Say that? More than 100. I love it. I'm doing 1 rupee turnover. I can do 2.5 rupee turnover. Absolutely right. Go ahead. There's no wrong answer. Anybody else? Right? I'm going to throw this same question to each of the panelists. Just 1-word answer. What efficiency in business what increase in efficiency can you assume to get if you do analytics correctly? Everybody, just one quick number. 43. Okay, he's calculated that. Okay, I don't know how, but yeah.
Always better than the earlier number.
Okay, so greater than 1, thank God.
I think 10% at a Kegel level.
10%, okay, great.
See, there's a difference between ability and possibility.
Yeah. I said, okay, possibility, ability is aside.
Depending on the ability,
Yeah.
the possibility is unlimited.
Perfect, what a great answer. So,
At Zebra Consults, we throw in a number of 18 to 20%, but again depends on what type of retailer, garment retailer, quick service restaurant, etc. But data plays a big role, no more it's just staying lying in the cost.
okay. Alright, so great. Anybody knows what's the right answer? Because I don't know. I've been doing analytics for retail for 19 years now. I don't know how much the answer is. Even greater than 1 is a possible answer, and even more than double is a possible answer, right? So, what he said is right. There's a difference between possibility and capability. What we are talking about is exactly this difference. All of us as retailers, we use data analytics. How effectively we use it is actually telling you what benefit in efficiency you're going to get out of it. So if you think that you are spending 100 rupees per month on analytics by manpower, by your own time, etc., and you're not even increasing your revenue by that 100 rupees, then honestly, don't blame the capability of analytics. Just look at how you're doing it. Maybe you need to look at doing it differently. So let's start the session, right? The first part of the session is data and insights, right? I'd like to ask the panelists, what is the difference between data and insight? And this is going to be a quick answer because we're going to come to your case studies, real case studies subsequently. But just theoretically, can somebody define it? Whoever, please go ahead. Yeah.
So data is just endless sea of numbers sitting on your computer that you collect from multiple streams. Till the time you don't find patterns in it or find some observations in it, is the first step of converting data into an observation, and then based on that observations, you would draw some insights or some actionable points that, okay, this is something which is interesting, I can change it, or we have the ability to change it. And you draw that insight, and basis that you take the action. So just data would not do anything for you. Converting that into an insight is something which is very important.
So you have an answer?
Okay, sure. So as we move from system of record to system of reality, all the CIOs sitting here, 20, 30 years.
Subbu, a little higher.
Yeah, we used to put in systems which used to have record data and then go back to the boardrooms and say, this is what happened. Now, when we are having reality, we want actionable insights, and that's what is exciting about data.
Sure.
And, yeah.
Yes, Ranjan.
You know, I'll give you 2 examples, and it's more of analogy.
Okay, sure, that's great.
You know, everybody has experience. Very few people apply the experience. It is exactly that you have a lot of information. How to use the information is the art.
That is the insight. Okay.
That is what you call as insight.
Okay.
Or, you know, you have a gold mine when you have a data, what you rightly said. You have a gold mine. You need that right goldsmith to extract gold from that gold mine.
Okay.
So mining that gold out of that ore from the millions of ppms that you have, pick and choose how many ppms and which are the right ppms. Is that art of data and insight.
Great. Anybody else? Anything different you want to add? Please go ahead. If you have something different.
So everybody talks about inventory, right? So having an inventory as an information is good, right? But you know, if it's the consumption at the store is at a particular level, how do you kind of replenish it? What is the amount of raw materials that will be required in which store? Is the amount of analysis that can be done, and that is what the actionable is.
Okay, sure. Yeah. You have something, Lokesh? Great.
For me, basically, there is a lot of moves and the insight through which you will get the final picture. So you have a customer, you have transactions, you have feedbacks. Can you look at a bigger picture? So insight is something which will give you actionable points. What exactly?
So audience, has anybody understood what's the difference between data and insight from what our panelists have said? Yeah. Okay. I'll just give a very simple example to make you understand the difference. So for example, I was working with a fashion retailer of mine, and they wanted me to come up with a way to decide what SKUs they should be putting on discount in the next EOSS. And the ask did not end there. They said, we also want you to recommend how much of discount should I be giving on each SKU, right? So here's a problem statement. I hope most of the retailers here can associate with something like this. How do you decide, right? Forget analytics. As a retailer, as a business owner, how would you solve this problem? Typically, I would say that, okay, if I've got 10,000 SKUs or I've got 5,000 SKUs, I would like to give discounts on those SKUs which are not selling, right? So what you're doing is you're actually breaking down the problem into smaller problems. So you need to identify, data will help you identify what is not selling. Then you'd also like to know that, if there are 500 SKUs that are not selling, 50 of them could have come into your inventory just 2 weeks ago, and it's too early to decide whether it's going to sell or not. You don't want to give a discount on new items. So then you also want to say, along with telling me what is not selling, can you also tell me which are the ones which are older than 6 months old, or whatever the period is, right? Alright, now, and this can go on. Another example is, now that I know that there are these 450 SKUs, how much discount do I offer on each of these? So another way to solve that problem is to say, alright, these 450 have been greater than 6 months old in my system. Each one has sold a certain quantity in a certain period of time, and I have certain stock left of each of this. So the simple solution I gave them is to further add to this 450, saying the ones for which I have stock which is going to last me more than 3 months, I'm going to give a 30% discount. The ones which are going to last me enough stock for the next 1 year, I'm going to give an 80% discount. And the ones which I have marginal stock, I'll probably give a 10% discount. Now, what we've done here with this example is actually, I could have given the customer sale data, age data, etc. But we stitched all of this together. We put the rules of inferencing into the solution. And what we gave the retailer was a prescription list saying these SKUs 20%, these SKUs 40, these SKUs 60. Go ahead and just send it to your product team and change the barcodes, right? This is a simple example. I'm going to go back now. Each of these panelists come from very esteemed organizations. All of them have real life use cases where they have transformed data into insights. And I'm going to probably start from Subbu. Subbu, would you want to start with any of your customers who've done this successfully? Transforming data into insights with a real life example.
Okay, sure. I have multiple examples, so
we'll keep one for now.
We'll keep one for now. Yeah. We work with a retailer. I would like to remember NP Singh here. He passed away last year. Many of you might know him. He was one of the first guys to do RFID for retail way back in 2007, 2008 for Madura Garments. Similarly, we have JT sir here. I think he's around somewhere. He did it for Reliance. Now, RFID garment retail is in such a state where the CEO knows which shirt went out of the shop floor to the trial room to the POS counter, and vice versa, right? And also it's helping them in omni-channel fulfillment. Suppose from the shop floor, a particular blue color shirt went to the trial room. Of course, there are many other things we can do in trial room analytics and other things. What's happening is about 8 to 11%, there is a better intake, store output, because we are able to precisely say where is this shirt and how it's moving. And also for markdowns, we are able to say, these are your orange shirts, hey, send it to Calicut in Kerala. It's not going to sell here in Mumbai. Ship it out back to the other stores because it's not even moved in the last 60 days. So I've been excited about how the retailers are using, garment retailers are using this data to improve their bottom line.
Super. So just a request to the audience, while the panelists are narrating their case studies, if you have questions specifically for them or want to ask them to go into details of the case study, please keep that in mind. We're going to come back to you and you can use that time to ask them the questions. But yeah, thanks Subbu. Rajendra, do you want to take up the next one?
Everybody will talk about retailers. I'll give you a perspective of a shopping center. And everybody talks about very specific product SKU. I'll give you a live experience where how information can be used dramatically by not even thinking the route that people go. I'll take the example of a car park of a shopping center. in a shopping center in a year about 1 million cars come by. What we did, or what is the way, how to use the information of the million cars coming into the shopping center for better marketing. So you have a car number plate. I think every parking entry booth that you go today has something called a small camera which is facing, and that camera is what is they call as the ANPR, which means automatic number plate recognition. So it reads the number plate of the car. There are a lot of locations where you go where you don't even need to take a ticket. The ANPR reads the car number plate, the boom barrier opens, you enter the shopping center, you come back, do your shopping, come back, and you exit with your FASTag payment, or then you pay cash at the exit booth, whichever way you want to go. Using this ANPR, now imagine you have 1 million car coming into the mall. By just using the ANPR, now I have the information. MN01 means South Mumbai. The car is registered in South Mumbai, so he is a customer who's coming from South Mumbai. GJ01 means I know he's a customer based out of Ahmedabad. He's coming to a city like Mumbai by his car from Ahmedabad. If I had data of this million car based on just the RTO numbers, I know geographically that from this million customer, 5 million are coming from A area, 1 million coming from B area, X million coming from Y area. I can narrow down from that perspective. Add to that the technology of Van.com. You can reach out to exactly the consumer identification. Now you have consumer, you have his geography. If your TG was in particular X area and you are getting less number of cars from that area, you know where to market yourself. If you know that your TG, your customers are coming largely from B area and that's not your market, or if that is your market, you know that if you put a little more marketing front activities there, perhaps you get more consumers from those areas. That is one part of the information that a number plate gives us from a pure hardcore marketing. Then you use your own social media techniques of marketing, geo-tagging and all of that, and channeling all your social media marketing towards that. The second large information that is very critical which this gives me is, today you fight for customers' time share, not his wallet share. Today when I am fighting for a time share of a customer, if in a shopping center I know that this car has stayed in the complex for 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, 6 hours, I know what value that customer brings to me on the table from that particular car number. If I am able to correlate the car number and the customer number, I exactly know my customer the way I want to know him. Then I can follow him inside the shopping center for his various activities, building his own persona, and then building a customization and marketing technique for that customer to reach out to him in a manner that he is seeking to be addressed. These, and I've taken a very small example of data. This is just 1 million count of data of car count, which is helping the shopping center market themselves in a dramatic manner.
Super. I think it's a great use case as well. Yeah. Lokesh?
I'll go to the very old use case. We used to call it RFM back then. We still use RFM as one of the key metrics.
So just for the audience, RFM
is recency, frequency, and monitoring. So it's been around for it's been long that the concept is there. However, people are using it in a different manner. So we tried to mature it a little bit to go a little more personalized, create a personalized campaign for the customers. So we all know that you have champions, you have fence sitters, you have already lost customer in RFL. So what we do generally is, one way is to just blindly nudge them, cohort them, call them, try to convert them. Another way is to go a little personalized, use your data to get more insight, which may be, okay, these are the customers who purchased this particular package in last 6 months. And the effectiveness in our business, generally each treatment has a certain longevity. So if you take facial, it will remain for a good 1 month. If you take fillers, Botox, it generally stays for 6 to 8 months. So now you know that the last purchase of the customer, say 8 months back. Now you can pick those customers. And then, you can have a very personalized campaign for those customers with a certain extra carrot in terms of offers and other things to try and convert them, because you already know that this customer might be looking in the market for a second round of filler. Because once you take a filler or Botox, generally you tend to continue that service for a very long duration. And this is one of the example. Now you can go ahead with, there are multiple examples in the multiple categories. The anti-aging category, so doctor-driven categories. All these things you can easily generate an insight of an individual customer and go personalize. So what we call is a micro segment or micro cohorting is something which we generally do. We create a very small cohorts and then we target those customers separately. And then you also have a lost customer, so you have a win back opportunity. You will always see adjacency. Sometimes this customer just grows up. Like if you are in your young age, you might be having an acne. But now you are say 28, you don't have that problem, right? So what is the adjacency of acne? So we know that, okay, post acne, probably you will go into, the facial treatment, more pigmentation related treatment. So I may try and nudge you, or I may try and connect with you on various channels. I'm not talking about WhatsApp only. It could be social media, targeting feeds to you on Instagram, on these campaigns. So that's how we are.
Yeah, great. If I can request the panelists, because Lokesh spoke about customer analytics, cohorting, etc. I would just like to take a minute to actually talk about a use case. We've done something similar, right? I'll come back to you, Anand, in just a minute. So what Lokesh is talking about is using customer data. Now, recency, frequency, monetary value are three very standard metrics in retail analytics we use to understand behavior of a customer. When did he come last? How many times has he come in the last 1 year? How much has he spent with us in the last 1 year, for example? That is recency, frequency, monetary value. He's given a use case very aptly where it says you take this data to understand who's coming, who's not coming, how often was that customer buying face cream in the past, and when was the last time he bought it? Is it been too long and therefore should I reach out to him for a campaign on face cream or specific promo on face cream? So while this is a great use case, we've actually also, one of my customers is in the beauty and wellness space. We've actually done, which actually counters the micro cohorting part that Lokesh is talking about. We implemented a recommendation on the POS system of the retailer. So you go to a store, you buy 5 things in your cart, you come to the cashier scans your 5 items, he asks you for your loyalty number, mobile number, if you give that. Now at that point, the POS system makes a call to BIRetail's recommendation engine, and in about 3 to 4 seconds, on the screen of the cashier, 3 SKUs are shown, which are the top 3 recommendations to upsell to this customer, to try and tell, would you also like this or the other. Now, this is a simple solution, but there's a lot of data science that goes behind this. It profiles the customer. Is he buying category A or B? Is he a hair cream, hair product customer or skin product customer? Could be both, right? When was the last time he bought, let's say, a body wash? Typically, what's the average repeat cycle of a body wash? I buy body wash once in a month, right? He's bought body wash 3 months ago. Most likely, he is a candidate for body wash, right? Is he a customer who likes discounts, or he doesn't care, he's a premium customer? So when I narrow down body wash is a good category to recommend, now I need to narrow down within body wash whether I should send him a Fiamma de Villes or maybe a Lux, right? That maybe depends on his price point profiling. So using that, because what happens is in product recommendations, all of us are customers. We go to a billing counter, if the cashier asks you, sir, would you also like some cookies with your coffee? The first time he asks you, you will be nice and say, no, thank you. If he asks you a second thing, okay, if not cookies, would you like cake? That's when us as customers start getting agitated, saying, I don't want anything, right? So you have one chance to upsell. If your first product in the recommendation is most likely to hit the target, that is when you're going to succeed, right? So this is again another case study actually of transforming the simple data of recency, frequency, monetary value into actually something that's actionable, right? Sorry, I took a little longer, but yeah, back to you, Anand.
So let me set a bit of context before I
Sure.
start giving the example. So, from a customer's perspective, if you go to a retail store, I believe you are able to pay via cash, card, and digital mode, right? All of you agree on that? Yes. And do you or are you charged anything apart from these three, as a service fee to you? Yes, no? Okay. Do you believe that merchant is charged something when the merchant accepts something from the customer on cash, card, or maybe at a digital front? Anybody?
Anand, I don't care.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, as a customer, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
You might not be worried about it, but just to set the context, yes, the merchant is charged. So, when it is a card payment, there is a concept of MDR that the merchant is supposed to pay to the bankers. Okay, both to the cardholders banker as well as to the merchant banker. Okay, so this is the context now. Okay, the problem statement is this, that we as a merchant, we process more than few crores of invoices on a monthly basis. Okay, now if let's say half of them are even related to cards, you can understand the amount of money that we might be paying to the banks on the MDR charges given. Okay, how do we address that? So that is one of the problem statements, right? So you have the data saying that these many number of the invoices are there, cash, card, and the digital. When I say digital, it is UPI mainly. So cash you don't have to pay anything, UPI don't have to pay anything, but on the card you have to pay something. So what is stopping you from asking the customer to pay from card? So okay, customers do not have carrying. Customers are nowadays not carrying so much amount of cash, so they do not pay via the cash, right? So the other two options that they have is either the card or the UPI. And as mentioned, they don't care what option do I use. So generally it has been observed when the customer basically sees the UPI barcode in front of them, they basically are prompted that that this is an option that I can go and pay for, and that is when they basically start paying by the UPI, because frankly it doesn't matter to them because whether they pay it via card or UPI, but UPI is much more faster and then they pay it out. So for us, it would be beneficial for us as a merchant also, right, to convert the customer from a card customer to a UPI customer. So since we do a huge amount of volume, we cannot wait for a customer to kind of type out all the amount into the UPI and then pay it out. So let's say somebody has a bill value of let's say 1500 rupee. You do not want him to expect to kind of write 1500, either write 15,000 or maybe 150 and then pay it out, because both way it will be incorrect. So for us, it is an integrated option always. So we always kind of give a customer an option of integrated output. So what it means is that when your bill value is of 1500, you will be prompted 1500 to be paid out completely. That is what will be shown in your EDC terminal. Now, but that is on the EDC terminal. Then how do I kind of ask the customer saying that that paid via UPI? So then we basically came up with the concept of dynamic QR. So dynamic QR is now available at our stores, which you basically can utilize, which basically will prompt you for the exact amount that is related to your bill. Every time the QR code will only be reflecting the amount that is related to your bill only, and you basically can scan it out like that and pay. What it is helping us as a merchant is on the saving of the MDR rates. Okay, we basically are able to save a huge amount of money on the MDR, and that is what we basically are able to use the data for. So one of the very real world examples that we are doing today.
Very, very interesting. Guys, how many of you are actually using credit card to pay at McDonald's? Please stop doing that. Because if their cost goes up, the cost of the burger will go up for all of us. Or the lettuce or the tomato is going to get withdrawn from the burger, right? So let's try and support.
We also keep on bringing offers on the UPI as well.
Yeah,
so that you can get discounts on the UPI payment. So this is another option that prompts the customer to pay via UPI.
Great. Okay, Rishi.
Right. So, as a retailer, I am a very strong believer that location is one of the key factors when it comes to any retailer. And a lot of data is also actually used to, it can be used in today's day to pinpoint on the right location and whether it is going to work for you or not. Once you decide on a location, the cost behind it, the time behind it, the efforts behind it, and the kind of lock-ins that we have nowadays with the malls, it becomes a bleeding stream for you. So everyone is very keen to know, okay, whether this location would perform for me or not. But in today's day and age, it is very easy to test the waters, right? So I can just go out, test a particular radius of 5 kilometers and check it for a week, and I know, okay, these many people I have hit through my impressions, what is the conversion ratio, how many people bought it, and what has happened. And then I can very happily go to a mall manager, sit with him and say, okay, in the last week I have built 2000 units in this 5 kilometer radius. This 5 kilometer radius is addressed by you, so the people here are liking me, they are liking the brand, they want to shop with us. And since we know that 22% of sales happens online while still 78% of it is offline, there's a higher turnaround for me available in this mall, while I can still be a converting factor for you. Any shopping center or mall does not just want to have footfalls, they want to have footfalls which is converting, right? So if you could give that confidence to a mall manager or shopping center manager with the data, make it into an insight and show him, okay, this is what we can do in this area, I believe they'll be more than happy to give you the location first, cracking that, and two, you yourself will be very confident that, okay, this location is going to work for me. You can continue with your marketing things, whatever you're doing through social media influencers or whatever, and increase the footfalls. And the gestation generally comes down drastically. So if you talk about orthodox players, when we used to talk about gestations for 4, 6 months, 1 year, you can look at D2C brands going offline and having gestation periods of like 10 days maybe. So that's a very big difference that you can draw from having the right data, testing the waters, drawing insights, and taking it to the location again.
So while you were talking, Rishi, I could see Rajendra nodding his head in agreement. Rajendra, you want to add to this? I'm sure you use this data to actually sell to the brands about the location of your malls coming up. How is that actioned?
No, so what happens is, as the shopping center also matures, as the brand matures, a lot of information comes by what category is selling, which brand is selling, which brand has a higher conversion ratio, which brand has high ticket size. A lot of this information is gathered prior to offering brand or concluding the deal with the brand. And it has an impact on the rate as well, tenure as well. So a lot of this science goes into it.
Right. No, fair enough. So I don't know if the audience has gone to sleep, but I told you I'm not going to leave you. Yeah, Ranga has a question. Okay, so I'm going to take questions after 5 minutes or so. You'll get the first chance. But another quick poll. Are you ready, guys? Who's awake? Okay, we are coming to the second part of the session, which is about big data. Quick question. How many in this audience feel that big data is a big hype? Just shout out, yes, no. That's the two options you have. Big data is a big hype. Yes, no. Anybody? No. Did anybody say yes? That's where the stand-up comedian catches you. Okay, so everybody believes that big data has big value, right? I'm going to ask the same question now to the panelists because most of them have somewhere or the other implemented it. Maybe I'm going to start with the guys from the tech side first. Lokesh, why don't you start? Big data is a big hype, yes or no? If not, explain.
No, definitely it's not. I mean, we all are here. We have seen 64 kbps, 32 kbps of internet where the data, can be copied in a, not even in a flash drive, in a floppy disk, right? So the volume of the data which we used to analyze, the entire MIS department used to run on Excel. And now you're talking about Power BI, you're talking about AI on Power BI, generating most of the dashboard getting generated automatically basis your no-code, low-code platform. So it's a reality. You have to live with it, and we have to capitalize it. So, and second, earlier you used to have purely unstructured data or structured data. Now you have both. Now the whole idea is to combine them together and then generate an insight.
So I was actually going to ask any one of you guys who can really define what is big data? What is big data? Anyone, if you can define it. Go ahead. You can trust a non-IT guy, a business guy to take a stab at all technology definition. But yeah, Rajendra, all yours.
It's a very simple answer. What is the difference between count and data?
Okay.
I think most of the people today go on the count rather than data. I'm surprised people call it, does data also need an adjective big data?
Correct.
There is no need for an adjective of big data. Data itself is quite self-explanatory.
If it wasn't big, we'll do at 32 kbps.
Correct. So the point is, half the people, I will call it actually a hype for the people who just think data is count. How many, and if I ask people to raise hands with the hands on their chest, most of the people, most of the brands, most of the retailers, most of the users of data are accumulating information which is very selflessly available to them, given by the poor customer because of certain compulsions, because of certain push that you give him. There is no real enrichment or enhancement of the data that people work on. And that is the challenge. That is the hype. People believe that data can do magic for them. But with the restricted information that they collate about a consumer, they think that they have got big data. This is the hype that one has to break, that you have to enrich your data constantly. Today, imagine a situation, your information of 10 years, it's a process. It's not an information which you can create in a span of 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. It's a process of 10 years, 15 years, where you will really get big data. And I'm taking examples of organizations, when you talk about Meta, when you talk about Google, when you talk about Apple, when you talk about Spotify, they have a huge amount of data because they have a lot of information about you, just other than your little shopping behavior or your little mobile number, your email ID. That's once you have a lot of more information about your consumer, other than the restrictive business that you are trying to do with him, that's when your information gathers, that enrichment, that enhancement, and that is when you will be able to use that big data in the correct manner, because then you will know really your consumer well.
So I really like that somebody is dissing big data at this moment, but let's get Anand's opinion on this. So what is big data according to you, and then you can tell.
I was going to give a more of a very fundamental explanation to that, but that was very much more better. But yeah. Okay, so big data, can be defined as a data which basically meets 3 basic properties. Okay, one property is the volume. Of course, big is supposed to be a huge amount of data. There's per se no number to it. Huge. Okay. Then velocity. Okay. The velocity it says that that the data should be coming to you at a very, very high speed. Okay. That's the second property. The third is the variety, and where it says that the amount of information on a particular thing you receive it from multiple sources or maybe at a multiple variant level, and that is when if a data set that is kind of meeting all these 3 properties, you can kind of define that as a big data.
As big data.
As
yeah, please.
Add complexity to it as well.
Yeah. So
yeah. Yeah. So
that's our job. Sorry.
Yeah. So please.
Hey, Anand just mentioned variance, velocity, and volume, and which is the right definition maybe. I would like to give an example about a Sri Lankan retailer. I have a good friend of mine there, John Keels, how they are using data to sell perishables between 3 to 5 just before the office closes. Between this time, they actually mark down prices. It's automatic. It takes post data of all their 200, 300 stores, and then it doesn't send messages. It's only alerted on their electronic shelf labels for shoppers inside.
Super. So that's I think an accentuate use case of analytics in action. This is like an amazing. Of course, we can talk more about it. Anand, you wanted to add something?
Yeah. So not exactly example of big data, but example of analytics or maybe analysis about it.
Okay.
So we at McDonald's, we value our customers the most, and we believe that we want to serve you the best food that we basically can. Okay. In order to do that, we hello.
Yeah.
So we take too many number of steps in order to kind of ensure that the food that is served to you is of the utmost quality. When we say utmost quality, we basically measure the viscosity of oil with the help of IoT. We measure the temperature of the product with the help of IoT. We measure the humidity, the temperature at the stores. All these kind of things are done with the help of technology. The IoT data, devices at the store, they feed these kind of information back to us centrally so that we are able to monitor ensuring that that all the stores basically are serving you in the utmost condition and the right food that we basically can offer to you.
Yeah, okay, yeah, great. So IoT is big, but this is a practical usage of IoT. So we are kind of running out of time. Ranga has raised his hand long back. So one question from Ranga, please. Anybody can give him a mic on the first round table in the center.
Quick, getting back to, one is the issue about bringing all the different silos together. How difficult do you face that as a problem? The second is that typically at what stage do you get at, which is what is happening in the store, why is it happening, and what should you do to improve it. So the last stage, is that done centrally, or is it done at a store level, at a store associate level? Because most people are not computer savvy at the store level. They don't look at Power BI, but how do you actually get down to actionable insights or actionable?
So I'd like any of them to take it. Yeah, I would also add like 30 seconds of my input. I'm just solving this problem for another international retailer, but no, please go ahead.
So the entire point for data and data analytics is to empower people down the line, right? So yes, they might not be data savvy, they might not be tech savvy, but they know how to read basic reports. So if you could go through all that data centrally, if you could create those dynamic reports that we have been talking about, if that is what is available on their mobile or their laptop or their POS screen, is when they exactly know what is to be done, and that is what is empowering them to use that data for better conversions or any of those sorts. So like he just said that someone calls into the system and in 3 to 4 seconds they have a recommendation. That is again using data at the POS level, empowering the salesperson to sell it through or do an upsell. So any use of data is strictly about empowering people throughout the organization and enabling them to take decisions which rather would have sat into the boardroom with piles of paper and just based on hunch, while rather it is now data driven. And if someone is taking a call, a basic question can be why, and a logical answer to it is available, that okay, the data showed me this, and this is this, I am taking that call. And that training is very, very easy, and it should not be a problem. So what good data and good analytics should do for any company is empowering the people throughout the entire channel.
Yeah, so I think taking from what Rishi is saying, just to add back to your question, so this is a QSR chain, multinational chain that we are solving a problem for. All of us look at sales data, what sold, how much, etc. Right? So the solution that we are doing around sales data for them is all the sales data comes into their, sales and store ops team that sits in the head office. Even though the stores are all across, they are doing certain analytics on that to decide pricing strategy, to decide, which periods in the day they should offer discounts, like he said. But the same data is churned differently for the store stuff. There, they don't have access to a dashboard on Power BI, for example. On their mobile device, every morning, certain actions are pushed. You need to sell more cookies with Cap Coffee. Because this particular retailer has decided that out of 100 bills in a day, at least 100 coffee bills in a day, at least 30 should have an add-on. 9 of the 10 stores are doing it, this one store is not doing it. So the action prescribed to this store manager is you need to add more cookies or add-ons. To another store manager, the prescription says that you are selling too little of medium-sized beverages, there is too much of small-sized beverages, you need to upsell that. So there is no analytics being served at the store level. There's prescriptions being served at the store level. They don't have a dashboard, it comes on their mobile phone. So I hope that answers your question. Guys, so sorry with that, we've run out of time, but thank you for being and participating with me. I hope you had fun. I had fun. I hope the panelists had fun. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.